Hello everyone, this is Tessa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering the tag that the authors are Weird Authortube Tag. I just came across today. It's been around obviously for a couple weeks, but I just came across this, so I thought it sounded like a fun thing to do. So I have to read this because I still can't put questions on the bottom of my text. One of these days maybe I'll figure out how to edit, but as of right now I've got to read off of the paper. The first question is, do you have bizarre internet searches, and if so, what is the weirdest one? Now, as a writer, I think everybody has probably bizarre internet searches. I mean, unless you're writing a simple romance story, there's going to be all kinds of questions that you're going to end up searching for. Probably the weirdest one I did was I wanted to know if you could get paralyzed by falling down the steps, but for it not to be permanent, is it possible to recover? Because it was integral to a story I was writing that she be paralyzed, but not permanently. Not that anybody's supposed to know that. I haven't finished that book, so nobody has to know about that yet. You'll probably forget about it if you were to see this and the book it's anyhow. But anyhow, that was probably the weirdest one. I also was writing a story which I knew the answer, can you survive being born with one kidney? Because my grandson was born that way. But I was wondering if it's possible for it to grow back, which was for another story, that it was necessary for that to be true. And I didn't know. His did not grow back. But I found out by doing research that yes, they can grow back in certain circumstances. It depends on what causes the kidney to disappear. He had two when he was born, but one was malfunctioning. So that was another weird search I did. But yeah, I search all kinds of weird things when I'm writing. And I do think all writers do that. That's pretty common. Number 2 is, do you write people you know and dislike into your story as villains and dumb people to kill them off? No. I don't write real people into my stories, even though some of them may be based on something that I have either experienced or heard of. I don't put that in there so I can kill them off or whatever. I mean, it's just sometimes I might use the way the story started, or maybe a quirk, something funny that happened, those kind of things. I use people that, I know. Because a lot of my writing is based on real life. You don't know when you read it which is real and which is, of course, false. I mean, but, and I think a lot of people, tend to write a lot of things from things they've read about or heard about. I personally do a lot of stuff in my life because my life has been really weird. I've had one of the strangest lives imaginable. I mean, people, when they hear the stuff that's going on in my life, just can't imagine. They don't believe me, But I said, no, this stuff really happened, and it's just the way it is. I'm used to weird things happening to me, and sometimes they make really good stories. So yeah, I use them, but I don't kill them off. Number 3, does personal hygiene come second to writing? No. I've never gotten so involved in something that I could not, take a shower and brush my teeth or whatever it is that needs to be done. I've never gotten that involved in a story. I've never had a deadline that would make it impossible to ever, stop. I mean, that's just a little weird. That's too weird for me. Number 4, do you go on the baby name websites to name your characters? Now, this is something that I have never done. but I have just recently heard about it. I mean, I never knew that those sites existed. So I was always trying to make up characters' names in my head, and which is why a lot of times my characters have the same names, because I can't think of different names to use. But now that I know about these sites, I need to actually try finding them, because I don't have a website address for one. I'm sure you can just look up baby name generator or something and start looking for names that way, so I can come up with different names so that all my characters aren't named the same thing. Especially when I write a lot of short stories and I post them on my blog, and it's like each story has the same named characters, you know, because I have no way of thinking of different names. But now, you know, I know about the baby name generators, and I know there's a couple other different kinds of generators out there for fantasy and other kind of writing. So, you know, you could get names for a certain time period and stuff like that. I mean, I've just heard about all this in the last week or so, and I haven't had a chance to really look at it myself. Number 5, do you have a list of actors or actresses who would play your characters if adaptation was made of your story or book? I don't do that. I have not thought of who. I haven't even thought of who would play me if I was to make one of my memoirs into a movie. I mean, I've been writing my memoirs, but I don't know of anybody that I could think of that I would want to play me. I don't have any idea at all. Okay, number 6, have you ever stared at a stranger who looked like one of your characters? I don't think so. Like I said, since I don't usually worry about what my character looks like unless there's a reason to know, I don't delve into their looks and stuff. There would be no reason for me to look for somebody, a stranger who has those characteristics. Now that I'm starting to write character profiles, I don't know, maybe, but I can't imagine that I would see somebody and say, oh, well, that looks like such and such from, you know, my book. I don't know. I personally don't see that happening. Number 7, do you talk to yourself to work through a scene, and where? I talk to myself all the time about everything. I also answer myself. I know what they say about that, but I just think that it just means that someone with very high intelligence is answering. I don't think of that as being crazy. I have never talked to myself to work through a scene, though, that I remember. I do know, like I said, I've been known to talk to myself all the time. Where? Usually alone. Occasionally I've talked to myself in public and had people say, what? And I'm like, oops, sorry, I was talking to myself. But that doesn't happen often. Number 8, while writing, do you make all the expressions your characters are making? If I do, I'm unaware of it. I can't imagine why I would. Doesn't make sense. So I'm going to say no for that one. Number 9, do you ever practice answering interview questions in case you make it big? Well, I say no. I don't even practice interview questions when I'm going for a job, and I know they urge you to think up some of the most common questions asked in a job interview and practice saying them out loud. But I never did that. I just never felt the need to do that, and I would feel silly doing that. So no, I never really did. I mean, the most I ever did was maybe write a few things down when I knew I was going on a specific interview and I had someone to help me say, well, you know, this is some of the questions they might ask you. And that's only happened once. And so I did write down some answers to kind of get them in my mind, but as for practicing them out loud, no. And number 10, do you have a soundtrack and or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? Personally, I do not like music playing when I'm writing. I find it very distracting. And I'm very particular in my music, and I like rock and roll and punk and metal, heavy metal. They're not writing conducive. So no, there's usually not music playing while I'm writing. And I know a lot of people have certain playlists set up for different books, and they have to listen to this soundtrack, you know, while they're, you know, they're writing. But I don't. To me, it's just too darn distracting. And I don't even know how to go about putting together a playlist that would go with the book I'm writing anyhow. So I just can't see that happening. So I'd have to say no there. So anyhow, there's 10 questions on this, and the tag is going around. So if you're interested, it's called the Writers or the Authors Are Weird Authortube Tag. And I'll put the questions and the name of the person before me that did it and their website if you want to go and look at that. Actually, there were two, because I went to the one and then I went to the one he got the tag off, and then there I got the original person who started the tag. So I'll put that information in the description of the video. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos are done. I usually try to post a new video once or twice a week. And right now I'm hanging more to once a week, but then again, NaNoWriMo is coming up. I don't know if I will be posting my what's the word I want? I hate that. If I'll be posting, you know, how I'm doing during NaNoWriMo, as some people do, or not. If I do, that'll give me an extra video per week, but you know, they do take time. They don't take me as long as a lot of people, because I don't do any editing. So, you know, the time frame it takes for some people to do a video whose editing is going to be a lot longer than me, who can so far only just post video as I'm saying it. And if it comes out weird, it comes out weird. But anyhow, if you like my video, please hit the like button. And until the next time, please be safe. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.